It's the Parkinson's Radio Hour with your host, Jeff Dowd. The Parkinson's Radio Hour is heard each week, Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. right here on 1230 WBZT with your host, Jeff Dowd.
We've got Joe Martin, who is the vice president and owner of Allegiance Home Health. He received his Master's of Science in Physical Therapy from Nova Southeastern University and his Bachelor's of Science in Exercise Physiology from the University of Florida. After his experience on the training staff of the United States Tennis Association and, of course, the Miami Dolphins, he began his 19-year career advocating and caring for seniors. Joe owned and operated Martin Physical Therapy in Boynton Beach for 13 years, specializing in helping seniors regain their functional independence. He has owned and operated Allegiance Home Health Care since 2005 with his wife, Rosie, and that's specifically to Parkinson's. Joe is a regular presenter in the community on topics such as caring for aging parents, balance and falls prevention, and Parkinson's disease. He has been instrumental in developing the Sapphire Parkinson's Care Program, a national program providing certification for caregivers who have received training on the latest techniques of caring for those with Parkinson's disease. He is allied team trained with the National Parkinson's Foundation, and Joe is on a mission to help people with Parkinson's and their families achieve a higher quality of life. So with that introduction, Joe, welcome to the Radio Hour.
Hey, thanks very much. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come on the show. That was a great introduction. I don't think I could have done that myself.
Well, you've got a lot of credentials there, and I want our listening audience to know exactly how happy we are to have you in the studio today. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So let's just start it with a broad question, if you would, Joe. When did you start treating people diagnosed with Parkinson's, and what kind of made you do that from a sports background?
Well, what happened was I started that clinic that you mentioned in Boynton Beach, and my background was really in sports medicine. I was a manual therapist, and I was very interested in treating orthopedic injuries and maybe the neurological symptoms that accompanied them. And I got together with a local movement disorder specialist, Stuart Isaacson, and he had a clinic at the time in Boynton Beach, and he started sending me some referrals, and I used some of the techniques that I would have used on an orthopedic patient. I started doing some of those manual techniques with Parkinson's patients, and he called me up one day and he said, I don't know what you're doing with my patients, but they're doing great. And I said, I'm just treating them like I would normally treat any other client. So after he sent me a few patients, I decided it was time to bring him lunch and thank him for his business, and we sat down and we started talking. And as I learned more about Parkinson's disease, he really enlightened me. And got me very interested in it, and I kind of developed a passion for educational seminars, learning as much about the physiological process of what's going on with Parkinson's. And he started to refer me more patients, and that was when I said, man, this is something that I love doing and that I could really do successfully. And I've had a great time through the years working with those diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Stu, you have a question?
Stu's one of the three main speakers and the partners in Parkinson's
Stuart
that
Isaacson.
we were just talking about. And as you guys know in the past, he was my dad's doctor. I love him.
Yeah, and I really owe it to him. If it wasn't for him, I would still be treating sports medicine patients.
Which isn't bad either.
No.
But we're really happy to have you in the Parkinson community. Can you tell me a little bit about, and this is something I'm not familiar with, but this allied team trained. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because a lot of times on the radio show, we talk about that doctors, hospitals, nurses aren't trained properly, knowledgeable of the specific and unique things that happen with Parkinson's patients.
Right, and then you kind of just said it yourself, specific and unique. I mean, Parkinson's disease is so unique and so individualized in the way it affects each individual that the National Parkinson Foundation decided that education and training needs to be much greater than it is right now in the Parkinson's community. So they came up with a program to become allied team trained. I mean, you just heard Claire speaking previously about, the team developing a team, getting coordinated efforts by a group of experts that can all bounce ideas off of each other from each field that they're an expert in. So it's critical, when you get that diagnosis of Parkinson's, immediately to assemble that team. So what the National Parkinson's Foundation did is they developed allied team training, where they brought some of the greatest experts in the world together, from movement disorder specialists as far as physicians to musical therapists, physical therapists, everybody you can think of that can benefit a Parkinson's patient, brought them together to train those that wanted to learn more about Parkinson's. And there's a huge emphasis in that training on developing that team that's so critical.
So is this also where, should a caregiver go through this type training?
It's the program itself is designed for professionals.
For professionals, not an average, I don't want to say average, but a caregiver for a Parkinson's patient.
Right. It's designed for professionals. You have to have a license in the certain fields that they determine are part of the team. Now, but part of the training, they bring in caregivers.
Okay.
So it's a 3-day training, and 2 of the days they bring in Parkinson's patients, so you could get a real idea of the different stages of Parkinson's. And one of the days they actually bring in caregivers. Because, a lot of times we keep talking about people with Parkinson's, but sometimes you forget about the caregivers too. So they bring in the caregivers and show the whole dynamics of what's going on as far as a family that has somebody that is diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Very good. Well, we don't forget about caregivers because we know how important they are here. Stu, you have a question?
Yeah, you talked about Joe on a mission, and we smile. When they went out for the training in Tennessee, something happened with the flight. These people were in a car 24 hours to get there. So you talk about dedication and being on a mission to help people. Now, just as importantly, the Allied team training goes around the country. I think you were in Tennessee, then it was in San Diego. I know that the National Parkinson's Foundation down in Miami is bringing the training down here. So the next training will be...
You mean in South Florida?
In our area, correct.
Okay.
So you don't have to... Muhammad doesn't have to go to the mountain. The mountain's coming to us. And that will continue as one of the major things, or one of the major initiatives of the National Parkinson's Foundation in Miami. So thank you for that, guys.
Very good. Joe, you've got... And before I get into some of the specifics of what you do as far as the training goes... as you mentioned, you do have a passion for what we're doing here. I can hear it in your voice, and as we've spoken in the past. Do you have a member of the family or something that has Parkinson's, or is this something because of Dr. Isaacson that you got involved with?
I do have a member of my family. It was really Stu Isaacson that got me, very interested in it. I've always loved learning about physiology, pathophysiology, and he's the one that got me interested in Parkinson's. But I actually have an uncle who has since... he's deceased right now, but through the 90s was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And now the more that I've learned about it, when I was around him, I didn't know nearly what I know now. And he probably had some Parkinson's plus syndromes going on, but he was diagnosed with Parkinson's in the late 80s, and he's no longer with us.
That was early.
But I remember, I was much younger than I am now, and I wish I knew what I know now about the disease, but...
I say the same thing all the time. When my mother had the disease, and unfortunately she passed away a couple years ago too, this radio show has really educated us and really given us some information. I wish she would have been around now so I could have passed some of this along. So when I talk about these things, listeners, it's because we want to help the community out there in the whole right now, from caregivers to the patients and all. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do then? As you design this program, and I want to go back after our next break, I want to get into the specific Sapphire Parkinson's Care program that you did. But I understand that you're part of the Surf and Turf program here at the chapter as well. Right.
So we do it at the NPF, what we do at their chapter in Boca Raton, the South Palm Beach chapter. We do a balance workshop every other week.
Okay.
And we go out there. We have a good time. It's probably the first half hour we talk about all the issues that are accompanying balance disorders. We talk about balance, what it is, why it can be improved no matter how old you are, no matter what disease you have, no matter what. It's a motor skill that can be improved just like any other motor skill. And then we actually perform a routine of, I call it, the 4 systems of your body that affect balance. And we try to do 2 or 3 activities that will challenge each one of those systems to improve balance.
So you can actually improve balance. What does the patient gain more strength?
Strength is one of them. It's the 4 systems that we go over. One is the musculoskeletal system. Obviously, if your legs aren't strong enough to hold you up, you can't possibly have good balance.
Right.
And there's so much literature out there and research showing the correlation between quadricep and gluteal strength and decreased risk for falls with improved balance. So, the first thing, obviously, you could do is strengthen your quadriceps and your buttocks muscles. The second one is your visual system, which obviously has to do with depth perception. A lot of times going to an ophthalmologist or an optometrist. But there's also, believe it or not, exercises that help control your eyes. And then your eyes work in conjunction with your vestibular system, which is your inner ear, not the part that you hear with, but the inner ear. You have a vestibulo-ocular reflex where your eyes and your ears work together. So we do a little bit for the vestibular system.
My goodness.
And then there's the fourth system that we try to target is proprioception, which is basically your body's awareness of where it is in space. Like if you touch your nose, you don't have to look at your finger and your nose. You know where your finger and your nose is. Well, the largest amount of proprioceptors in our body are on the bottom of our feet. So when we walk, we don't really have to look at the ground, but sometimes that becomes a little diminished, but that can also be retrained. So we try to do a few activities that increase the stimulation to those receptors on the bottom of your feet. If you improve those 4 symptoms, you're going to improve your balance. Doesn't matter who you are or what's going on.
I would think so, Stu.
Yeah, if you guys could see the smile on my face. It's one of our most popular programs. Everybody, we told the story about the guy jumping up and down in the pool, and it was out of pure joy. The people in the balance class do the same thing. So,
and you know what? I would like to encourage more people to come out to that too, because we have a good time. We literally sit and talk for like a half hour, and then we get to work, and we have a good time doing it. There's a lot of interaction, a lot of engagement. Some of the caregivers come in, or there's a caregiver support group outside, and it's fun. And I think that room can fit a lot more people in it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, because we're always encouraging people to participate in that surf and turf program. And as Stu and I have talked about many times, there's a Boca location, a Boynton Beach location, West Palm. Stu, go ahead.
This is our balance. It's not the surf and turf. It works in it. All our services work in conjunction, but this is specifically a balance program.
Oh, excellent. Very good. So it sounds like from what you said, Joe, that regardless what stage you're in of Parkinson's, be it standing up and maybe a young onset or maybe moving along and maybe even wheelchair bound, there's still exercises and things you can do to improve your motor skills and some of your strength. Am I
Absolutely. Correct? A big part of it is also just the biomechanics of movement. I always explain it, it's physics. No matter what's moving, whether it's a car or a body, it's all about physics. And sometimes you're greatly limited in your movements because you're not using the correct body mechanics.
Okay.
So it could be something as simple as shifting your center of gravity a certain way, and then, boom, you're getting out of a chair 10 times easier than it would have been, if you're not shifting your weight properly. So there's a lot of instruction as far as biomechanics.
Excellent. This is some great information. Stu, go ahead.
The people get it right away, and you see the pure joy in their face when they go, whoa. And yeah, Jeff's smiling now.
Well, that's
Joe's
what makes it
smiling.
so.
That's why it's
that's
great.
actually what makes it so fun to do. Is you can make an immediate impact.
So it just, as we always talk about this program, we're improving the quality of life for people in the community. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the Parkinson's Radio Hour.
Hi, this is Bonnie Austin, NPF South Palm Beach County Chapter President.
And I'm Stu Perlin, the Executive Director.
Our goal is to aid, comfort, and support the people in our community afflicted with Parkinson's disease, their caregivers and families, and most of all, to find a cure. We do this because we are you. In one way or another, we've been through this. We've seen how this disease can wreak havoc with your dreams and hopes for the future.
And how it totally disrupts your family and affects all of those that you love and hold dear. We have the resources and information you need. Chapter offers support activities for you and your family to help live longer and stronger. All of our services and activities are free to our members. Our annual membership for the family is $25 per person per year. We don't want you to do this alone.
Everyone knows someone who's been touched by this disease. Our work is fully supported by generous donations from those within our own community who have often witnessed firsthand what we are fighting for. Help us fight this debilitating disease and make a donation today.
You can find us online at www.npfsouthpalmbeach.org or please call me at 561-306-2090. Whether you need us a little or a lot, we're here to listen, we're here to help. Join us to find the cure.
The American dream is of a better future, a confident retirement. Those dreams have taken a beating lately. As an Ameriprise financial advisor, Jeff Dowd is dedicated to helping you keep your dreams alive by listening, planning, working with you one-on-one so you can retire your way with confidence. That's what Ameriprise Financial does. It's what they've done for millions of Americans. It's what Jeff can do for you. Put the strength of a leader in retirement planning to work for you today. Jeff is dedicated to working with you to help you plan a plan to realize your retirement dreams. Ameriprise Financial, more within reach. Call Jeff Dowd today at 561-997-2223 for a free 30-minute consultation. Our offices are located at 2500 North Military Trail in Boca Raton, Florida. Ameriprise Financial Services, Incorporated, member of FINRA and the SIPC. Ameriprise Financial cannot guarantee future financial results. The initial consultation provides an overview of financial planning concepts. You will not receive written analysis or recommendations.
American Parkinson Disease Association of South Florida presents Boca Ballet Theater's outreach program, BBT4PD, a dance program for those living with Parkinson's disease. The classes are taught by 2 Boca Ballet Theater faculty members trained in dance for PD, a collaborative program of Mark Morris Dance Group and Brooklyn Parkinson Group with music provided by a live accompanist. These classes are offered free of charge thanks to the generous sponsorship from American Parkinson Disease Association and First Atlantic Healthcare. Contact bocaballet.org.
And welcome back to the Parkinson's Radio Hour. We're speaking with Joe Martin, Vice President and owner of Allegiance Home Health. And I believe it's also rehab. Am I correct there? Am I getting the full title in there, Joe?
Yes.
Rehab.
It's Allegiance Home Health and rehab. We've kind of like dropped the rehab a little bit lately, only because drug rehab has gotten so big in the area that we had people calling us to do drug rehab, and that's not the kind of rehab we do.
Okay.
Physical rehab.
Very good. I just want to make sure that everybody gets the correct name out there. You know, before the last commercial break, we started talking about, and as I mentioned, we do not forget about the caregivers. They play an important, essential role in the Parkinson community. And Joe, can you tell us a little bit more about this Sapphire Parkinson's Care program?
Okay, so when we did the Allied team training, we had a representative from each department in our company, which provides nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, social services, and nutritional services. Mm-hmm. We wanted somebody from each department to be Allied team trained, so we all went up to Tennessee to get this training with our goal of all of us. We already worked with Parkinson's patients, so we had an idea, of what we were doing as far as our specialty. You can always learn more, but we really went up there with the goal of coming up with a training program for the caregivers, the certified nursing assistants, the CNAs, or a HHA, a home health aide.
But professionals, not a family member or a friend.
Right.
Okay.
So what they are is they're certified, and we noticed a lot in the community that an aide, especially accompanying the client that they're working with to the doctor's office, it's so important. When you go to your movement disorder specialist, it's so important to have somebody there with you that can relay information such as medication times, doses, symptoms, when you're freezing, when you're not freezing, on, off. And there's so many things that go into managing the medication component of Parkinson's, which is vital, for you to have that quality of life. The caregivers weren't receiving the amount of training that they should have in order to communicate with this. And actually, Dr. Isaacson was one that told me, it's like I ask a question to somebody, they have no idea what I'm talking about. And then there are other things that are very characteristic of Parkinson's as far as some of the movement, the freezing. Mm-hmm. I just mentioned the on and off time, things like risk for aspirating while you're eating. So we decided to come up with a program to train the caregivers to be specialized enough where they're very comfortable working with those diagnosed with Parkinson's. So we developed this video training program, and it involves a test at the end, a written test, but it's also not just a written test. There's a practical lab exam where they have to go from station to station, and they have to work with somebody going through a doorway if they freeze, or some type of spatial relationship that makes them freeze. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do when somebody freezes? What techniques can you use to help them get through that?
Right.
What are you going to do when you see somebody eating lunch or dinner and their posture isn't correct, placing them at a higher risk for aspirating? What are you going to do when the doctor sends home orders for a thicken, depending on what level of thickening they need in a drink,
food.
a liquid. So are you going to be able to mix that for them appropriately?
Right.
So we got together speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and a nurse. We all got together, developed this training program. So we train our caregivers so they can better serve the patients with Parkinson's.
So again, we're going back to the team approach.
Absolutely. It's got to be a team approach.
Now, is this something that the Michael J. Fox organization, is this part of the Partners in Parkinson program, Stu?
Allegiance does this on their own. They
this is
did the
a
training.
Allegiance Home Health. We develop the training.
Okay.
And then we provide the training to the caregivers. And then when we have a client who is diagnosed with Parkinson's that would like an additional caregiver, that's who we would send out.
When we get phone calls, we say Allegiance has trained people in Parkinson's.
Right.
The program was done through the National Parkinson's Foundation, like Fox is doing Partners and Partners. Every organization has their own specialty programs to help educate and train people. The National Parkinson's Foundation does more one-on-one because we focus more on quality of life as opposed to research. Fox focuses on research, God bless them, and some quality of life. We focus on quality of life and some research. That's our chapter grants.
Absolutely.
So everybody's working together to help everybody out there listening. You know, luckily we said Joe was on a mission in the beginning, and he is.
Well, he absolutely is, and everything we've heard so far today is improving people's quality of life. Joe, you have some comment?
Oh, no, I totally agree. I mean, I think that this is like, the word hope is thrown around a lot. And with Parkinson's, though, there is amazing research going on right now that, literally, I get those NPF emails, every time something new comes out, FDA approved this, or this is going through clinical trials, and there are some very exciting things coming about for those with Parkinson's, and I think that they're getting close, man.
Yep. Well, they are. And
they're getting really close.
So many of the updates and what's going on. We've had so many great researchers in here and pharmaceutical companies telling us what's coming, what's going to happen, and it is exciting sometimes.
Hey, and I wanted to mention something too. I forget her name. You guys might know her name, but from University of Southern Cal, Exercise Science Department.
Yeah, we had Giselle Petzinger. Hey, Giselle.
Giselle
has been on.
She's
here.
involved in some great research involving exercise. And, they're finding now that. And some of the research they've done, as far as pushing yourself to maximal levels,
yes,
has some of them have had just as much of effect as their Sinemet medication, as far as a dopamine reception
through exercise.
So through exercise.
Excellent.
I mean, she did a study where she put like a professional cyclist on a tandem bike, and the professional cyclist like set the tone, and the Parkinson's patient had to keep up. And it's really, when you push yourself beyond your limits in exercise, all kinds of chemicals are released in your body, and they're finding really profound effects in a very positive way on Parkinson's patients. There's great stuff out there.
That's terrific to mention. We talk about exercise all the time, from dance to exercise. Just move.
And then we go after the experts who are doing the studies to give you the best information we can.
That's correct.
And
Joe, we have really appreciated you being on our program today. Do you have a final thought that you'd like to share with our listening audience, as well as how can they reach you and how can they get in touch with you and part of the Sapphire program, the Allied team? How do we find out more about this?
Okay, so what I usually end with in my balance workshop is positive. Stay positive. Okay, because there's two ways of looking at everything, a negative way and a positive way. Positive way, you release all those good endorphin chemicals that are so important to the way we move and feel. So stay positive, stay active. I can be reached at Allegiance Home Health. Our main office is in Boca Raton, Florida. We have an office in Plantation, Stewart also. I'll give you the phone number. It's 561-367-0711. But we also have a toll-free number, which is 844, and it's CARE4PD, like the number 4, so CARE4PD. And also our website, you could reach us at care4pd.com.
Excellent. You've just passed along some great information today. We really hope you'll be on our show again.
Thank God. I would love to.
Well,
thank you.
Encouraging exercise, just participating in this has been terrific. So thank you very much for coming into our studio this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So please be sure to invite a friend to tune in next week to the Parkinson's Radio Hour every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. Until then, have a good week and take care.